Boom, we're live. Oh my gosh.
All
It's
right,
him.
let's go. It is me.
Hello and welcome back to another installment of Porky's podcast. I am your host at Porky. Today with me is one of the finest players, one of the finest guys to ever play this game. He's part of the 007, a multiple-time Hurricane clan, a sister clan to 07. I'm sure you guys know who 07 is, as long as you've been playing this game for like more than 10 minutes. Hello, Senpai. Welcome. Thank you so much, dude. It's a pleasure.
Dude, the pleasure, it's all mine. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. Like, it's just like you've been blowing up. Like, I've been seeing a lot more of your content. Like, I've been watching it. I'm just like, yo, this is something I want to be a part of. So, like, thank you so much for having me on. Like, it's an absolute honor.
Yo, I'm going to clip that and rewatch that tonight. Just that little bit. It's like huge for me.
And no worries, man. Like, it's huge. I love doing this sort of stuff. It's been a hot minute since I've done one. Like, I've been on like Venom's podcast back when he was a CC. I've been on like Krieger's. Like, I've done a lot of talking. I've been on Bogsy's before as
What?
well. So like, I love doing this stuff. Like, it is so much fun.
You were on Bogsy's podcast. That's huge, dude.
It's a lot of fun. Like, Bogsy's cool, dude. And then like, honestly, like, I love podcasts. I love talking about the game, about content, and just like getting like down to the brass tacks of like what exactly is going on.
Yeah, I mean, I just love talking. Like, any of these long form conversations are fantastic. Like, it's not very. I don't do a very structured podcast. Like, I know a lot of people have like notes and shit. I just write down like basic questions and just go from there. You know,
Just do it live, right?
I take a very Joe Rogan approach to things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that because like it honestly, it gives you that like kind of that like that you never know what you're gonna get, like that almost Forrest Gump kind of feel. Like life's like a box of chocolates, like Porky's podcast is like a box of chocolates.
It is.
You
Man.
never know what you're gonna get. That
Never.
sort of thing.
Yeah, dude. To start with, I have to ask you, what's it like to be part of the 07 community?
Well, first off, I just gotta ask, like, the public, is being part of the O7 community, is that good or like no hello?
It seems okay, I guess. I mean, do you like playing in Hurricane? Thoughts?
Oh, I mean, I tend to merc more for like QQ right now because I'm just kind of like getting back into the swing of things because I took a bit of a competitive break. But playing at the Hurricane level when I was playing consistently, um, it was definitely a grind because you would have to make sure that you don't drop against your sister clans. Like for example, like Double O's queuing up on our alpha rating, and we noticed that like O7 is in queue at current. We don't want to like queue up against each other, so we take away from their rating or they take away from our rating or something like that. They want to play against actual opponents, and so like we want like yeah like we sometimes we match up against each other, but it happens, and sometimes games go the way you think they're gonna go, or sometimes there's a big upset and then there's some bragging rights on the line. But overall, like Hurricane is hell,
Yeah,
especially like in this season where there's carriers everywhere. They've actually had to ban the Ryujo. Like you see Arc Royals everywhere. Like I'm personally an Issei player, but hey, hybrids. Don't knock them till you try them. Trust.
I mean, that's fair.
They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. But Hurricane play, there's a lot on the table. There's a lot on the line, and like the slightest mistake, like it is quite literally the equivalent of top tier esports, but just World of Warships. Like the slightest mistake, the slightest misposition, a missed shot could mean the difference between a win and a loss, and it's a lot of pressure, and you have to learn to deal with that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not for everyone. Like, I think a lot of people don't get the Hurricane level. Like, I've never played there, right? Look, guys, I'm gonna break news to you. I'm a bad player. I just love this fucking game. So, like, that's what matters, right?
That's all
But,
that matters. Like a lot of times, that's all that matters.
But, like, I've watched a lot of Hurricane players play, and they're different animals, man. They're computers.
I mean, a lot of us are, I guess, as people say today, we're built different.
Actually.
And like just the way that we talk with each other regarding the game, we do have a lot of super testers. We do have a lot of clan super testers in our community, and we get to kind of test mechanics, aspects of the game. And we like while we talk about everything that is non-NDA, let's just get that out of the way right away.
Yeah.
So we don't break NDAs with each other. We basically we make sure to, like, if someone has a question, like we'll be like, imagine knowing this, but at the bottom line is, like, we'll help each other out. Like these clans, they feed off of each other, and in some of the most toxically amazing ways. Not saying like '07 is toxic. Well, not saying that we are or aren't toxic, but it's kind of like that pushing each other to be better and to, I guess, keep that sword sharp.
Yeah.
So,
Keeping
like,
each other's accountable.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like sometimes like people come in and they think, oh yeah, like I'm finally part of the 07007 QQ7 community, and then they don't mesh, and then they're like, oh well, I left because they did this. And like usually the story is, no, you left because you couldn't listen to calls.
Yeah. Yeah. I think finding the fit is like the most important thing, right? Like, I won't say names, but I know people that have just said, nah, we're not having that guy in his clan, He's a fantastic player, but he's an actual idiot. Like,
I mean, let's just put it this way. When it comes to applying to 07007 QQ7, we are not just looking at your stats board. We're not just looking at your WASD numbers. Sure, you could have Unicum, Super Unicum stats on paper. Sure, that's great. Okay, that's awesome. However, how well do you play in a competitive scene? What is your game sense like? What is your strategic thinking sense like? And how well do you work with others? You could be a super unicum, like top of the board, and you could be absolute like dog water at playing competitively. And we would say, you know what? No, unless you can do this, no.
yeah.
And like we have like across the board, like everyone thinks like we're all like super unicums. Personally, I'm a bluenicum, and I'm like, on no cap on God, I'm a bluenicum. Like, I've got purple stats on some places, but overall I'm blue. But do I work well with others? Hell yeah, I do. So at the end of the day, it really just matters on, like, if you're mechanically good and you can work well with others, if you can like really like just mesh together into a cohesive like gaming unit. And that's what kind of like has formed at this level for this clan organization.
Yeah, I mean, well, that ties in brilliantly to one of the questions I was going to ask you. Like, what are the recruiting standards like in '07? Because I imagine when you get to that point, like the point oh cream of the crop, like you're not looking for fixer-uppers. Like,
Sometimes, sometimes people's accounts, like say for example, you have like 15K games and your overalls are like they're like dark green or like you're just into the blue. But your recents are super unicum. Sometimes things like that, there will be exceptions, but majorly, a lot of the time, the recruiting standards that 07007 and QQ7 are looking for are, one, you got to look at least somewhat competent on paper. Two, we div test the absolute daylights out of you to make sure that you can make good decisions in games in order to get the win, because damage isn't everything. Damage is great and all, but if you get like 400k on a loss, like what could you have done? That just proves to us like, okay, you know what, you cared more about your average damage than about your winning percentage. Because honestly, winning is what this game is all about. It's team A against team B. You're going for that W. You got to win. And sometimes, like, even though like we all love to farm, I mean, there's the reason we call the Henry 4 the John Henry, because that thing is a tractor and it used to farm back in its heyday. And we love farming damage, but overall, at the end of the day, we understand that getting the win is the most important thing. And so when recruiting, we look for people that are mechanically sound and know and have good decision making skills in game, as well as working well with others and are able to take feedback. That is the most important thing. Like, you must be able to take feedback or else you will not have a space.
yeah, well, I mean, it's evolve or die, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, for those of us who won't ever get the opportunity to play with that caliber of player, and look, for you guys out there, I'm not saying, you won't have the opportunity to play with a Unicum or whatever, but look, it's really not realistic. You get to play competitive with John the Ruthless or Potato Quality.
PQ, great dude. Actually had dinner with him like a few years back. He and I were both Canadian. It was actually really, really funny. The first time I ever met him, I asked him, "Hey, I was away at Anchors Away in Anaheim, the very first event, and I was like, hey, like, I don't know, like, summer's ending. Do you want to go for dinner sometime?" And like, Evrian was with us. He's another member of he was a member of 007 QQ7, still is to this day. And he's like, "Yo, so we're doing a WoW's meetup. Do you guys want to go for food?" And long story short, PQ actually came to the airport, picked me up, and when we all went for food.
Yo, you
So
you got driven around by Potato Quality.
yes, the PQ, by the way.
One of the best Battleship players that's ever played the video game.
In his words, "I am the best Battleship player in the game." And I will
Well,
not lie, it has been a pleasure to cast. Like, we all know that immortalized shot on, I think it was Northern Waters. I'm not sure. Over like halfway across the map, and I like flipped my lid.
across the planet.
Yeah, basically the man like spotter planed and like shot a Minotaur, dev struck him like from like across the planet. Like, he FedEx like same day airmailed that thing.
Look, the real question I have to ask is PQ an ICBM missile? I'm asking. I have to know.
I mean, he says he's a battleship main, but I do think he is an ICBM carrying submarine.
Do you think he's actually a CV main secretly? Like, could you imagine that comes out?
No,
Oh
no,
my
no, no,
God.
no. I don't think he's a CV man. He has too much disdain for
Yeah.
CVs. He has too much respect for battleships and the game itself to main CVs. Like, he cannot and will not.
But could you imagine if that comes out in like a couple of years? Like, game's dead. Everyone's looking through stats like as a laugh, and oh my God, PQ has 20,000 CV games. What the fuck?
I mean, if that happened, I
Oh
would
my God.
personally fly over to where he is now and be like, "We need to have a talk right now." Click, click. But seriously though, I mean, like, PQ overall really good dude. Playing with people like the true Spartan, John the Ruthless, like, you like, John doesn't usually talk very much, but he basically lets his actions speak for him, which
Yeah.
means like he just clubs people. It's insanity watching him play.
He's like a Dev Strike main, right?
I mean, you put him in anything. You could give him any ship he uses, and you could say, "Hey, go get X amount of damage, this amount of that," and he will not only meet your expectations but exceed them. He is
Yeah.
a damn machine, and it is so very impressive.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
going through the '07 roster, even like, we still have so much talent here. Like, we obviously have the nicest man in WoWs, aka the owner of the Lodge, Beefcake for life. Um, haven't met him yet, but I have met William the Dank, one of most consistent Battleship mains in '07 history. Very, very long time member there. Let's see, who else do we have? We've got
you got everyone, man.
dude, we've got everybody. We've even got Kami Samurai from way back in the day, Dolphin Princess, General Dort. Oh, my man Dort. He doesn't play comp too much, but he's still here. He's still here.
It's look, going through '07 stats is I do it like once a month because like fuck man. I don't need that. Like that like mental depression that like there's a player out there that are that much better than me in everything. It's just
I mean,
it's heartbreaking.
I wouldn't say it's more heartbreaking. If you look at it like it's heartbreaking, then you're hurting yourself. You should look at it and be like, hey, that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, you got it. Like, looking at people's stats who are better than you, or like watching players who are better than you. Like, I do it all the time. Like, I'll watch people play. I'll watch like Malta play. I'll watch BFK play. I'll be like, you know what? Like, they're playing well. They're making good decisions, and I take notes. It's like, I'm not going to be jealous of their stats, because what's the point of being jealous when you can work with these people, or like you can literally ask these people questions like, hey, like, I want to become a better player. Like, what can I do? And just having them as resources is so great. And having like basically a clan full of Lunicums and Unicums to help dissect your play is great. But I understand that not a lot of people outside have that option. But that's why we also have our Discord. And a lot of people, not everybody in '07 is talkative or very welcoming, but a lot of us will indeed, like, we'll extend our hands and be like, hey, yo, we'll play with you and we'll watch your play. Like, I always like, I'm reworking my division redeems in my for my stream, but usually like I'll talk with people and be like, hey, like, do you want to know what you need to do better? Like, what do you want to get out of World of Warships? Where do you want to improve? Like, it's but the bottom line is, don't look at us and be like, oh, like they're way better than me. Look at us and say, I want to be just like them one day. I
Yeah.
want to have those stats. I want to improve. I want to get those big damage games.
Yeah, I mean, I've just to personalize this, I've had the privilege to work with Repoy a little bit, an SCA Hurricane clan. Um, they're fantastic dudes. And look, I'm a CV player, right? I'll take a moment so you can hate me internally.
I mean, I understand. Like, I'm not gonna lie, cringed a little bit, but you know what? I really don't have a foot to stand on because I am a self-proclaimed hybrid main. I'm currently the second highest PR for Tone on NA.
Who's
So
number one?
don't worry.
Who's number one?
Like,
Is it John?
it's some guy. It's not John, but it's some guy who I am quite literally like. I'm nipping at his heels right now.
Fuck yeah,
So,
man. Get that bread.
oh yeah, like honestly, like I love hybrids. Like they bring an entirely new dynamic to the game that allows the player to choose between. Well, let's just say you're shooting at a target and he goes dark and he's on like 500 HP. It's not like, oh, I have to reposition to spot him. It's like I'm just gonna press my 4 key and go torpedo you.
Yeah.
It's you're self-sufficient and you provide so much more utility, which is great, and that's what I love about being able to play like Tones and stuff like that. But anyways, so you play with people like from Repoy, so like I don't know very many people from Repoy. Like I think of like Serjar, and I think is it Online Gamer part of Repoy? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I've had the privilege to play with people like Corrupt Penguin and Stratmania.
Oh, Stratmania, good
Oh
guy,
my god.
very good guy.
Intense dude.
Mm-hmm.
Intense dude. Like
Like yeah, like he's an incredible player.
he's CV Jesus.
Mm, I know some
Bro,
people
he
that may
is.
disagree with that, but you know, I don't know if those people would actually have a leg to stand on, if you know
Yeah,
who
I
I mean.
mean, look, if he was to come out and say, I'm just the best CV player in the world, I don't know many people that could be like, actually. Because it's
I
like,
would go as far to say that people like Gaishu would probably stand up and say, "Hold my beer," or people like Warlord 78 from '07 would stand up and say, "You know what? Hold my beer. Like this is gonna happen." Like even though like '07 has a ton of players, like we don't like CVs, but we do have our own aviary for our own creatures. And
I love that.
but it is not to discredit Strat, but if he did come out and say that, I do know of quite a few NACV mains who would basically say,
it'd
let's
be
settle this.
it'd be interesting to listen to them talk. Like listening to top tier CV players talk is just bizarre because they talk in seconds and efficiency and like
They
another
like I like
language.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, like it's almost like I don't know if you've seen the movie The Hangover, the first one, where Alan's got like the numbers flying across the screen. And he's like looking at that. That's how I envision every like Unicum or Super Unicum like CV player, competitive CV player, figuring out where to strike, when someone's DFA has popped off, or like when someone's like DCP is on cooldown, and just able to farm that much damage, or just timing strikes to get over an island through like the worst of the AA sectoring, and then boom, done. Like they have to figure out so much more. It's not just point and click, like a lot of people think it is, but there is a lot of timing to it. But the way they can get the given there's a pretty large window for you to at least be like half competent in a CV, for them, they take it to a whole new level.
Yeah, I feel like CVs are like they're easy to be okay at, but they're like really hard to be excellent in. Like,
It's easy to be good, but hard to be great. 100%.
yeah,
I can't agree with that. Like, um, I used to be actually like when I was in testing and like the first few days of it coming out, I actually used to be an Indomitable main. I loved that play. I loved that carrier because I don't know, just being able to buzz people with sea hornets that quickly, it was disgusting. Like, and the way you had to, and then like I was doing okay, and then people like my carrier mains in '07 start to break it down for me, like how to like maximize my damage. Even your SAT score, who is a jack of all trades, he helped break down a ton of numbers for me when the ship first came out, and he's like, "This is how I play it." and this is my average damage, and this is how I choose targets, and just hearing carrier players just go up and down and all around, it's nuts.
Yeah. I love the Indom, bro. I love it. I think I'm top 30 in Asia in it. I love that boat, man.
I think I'm top 5 in it right now for NA. I'll have to give it a look. But that's the last time I checked, and that was like over a year ago. So someone's probably passed me by then.
Yeah, I'm not trying to brag. It's like it's the only thing I got though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
No
the only
worries,
shot
man.
I
Like,
got.
it's honestly a fun boat. Like I really enjoy it personally. Like it was a lot of fun. But now I've kind of like moved over into different types of ships.
Yeah.
But let's see, am I still up there?
This is at the
No,
31st of August. You're not? Oh my god.
I'm not up there anymore. I got pushed down, but at least I think I did. Hang on, let me see.
Giga Sag.
Yeah, I got pushed down to 55, but I'm currently 13th in average damage.
That's fantastic, dude. So, like, for someone that's been around the clan battles block, so to speak, just from what you've seen, what do you think a lot of clans are missing when it comes to taking the next step competitively?
One thing and one thing only: commitment.
Yeah.
Quite literally commitment. The drive to like put away hours where other people would, for example, like they would go play different games, stuff like that. Like it is the drive. It is the drive. You're either like in the clan battle season, in a clan battles meta, you are either Tiger Woods or you're a mini golf champion. You either have the drive or you don't. If you get that.
I love
like
that.
like you need to have the drive, the commitment. You need to have a consistent group of players. You can't just keep swapping people in or splitting up your best players. If you want to make a name for yourself, you've got to take your clan and you've got to set aside the best group of players, the best 7 group of players that play together with each other very, very well. And you've got to put them together. Like they have to, 1, be good. 2, they have to work well with each other. And 3, they need to have the experience. And once you get those 3 aspects, you're going to have a good shot at making it in the Clan War season. Hell, you could even do what Complexity Limit did in their Race to World First. So what they did is they have a 30-man raid group, right? So this is World of Warcraft. We're talking World of Warcraft. They have a 30-man raid group. However, they had a 31st man who was spectating via Discord. So, with that being said, like Maximum, who is the guild leader and the caller, he was watching multiple Discord calls of like going around, like watching people like, okay, like this is what's happening. We need to do this, so they can focus on their gameplay and have him call for them.
Yeah.
So 7 to 8, like you need to have a solid 7 with like maybe 2 to 3 extras who can always be there, so you can always run at least a team every session. Yeah. And you have to have the commitment, you have to have the consistency. If you do not have any consistency, for lack of better phrasing, you're fucked. Like you will flounder in Storm or low Typhoon if you do not have the consistency. You need to in order to take that extra step, you need to put your best foot forward. You need to put your best effort forward. You need to do your homework. You need to do your research. You need to, like, if your opponents are streaming, you need to quite literally like get their playbook, watch their streams. Like this is what happens in Kings of the Sea. Like this is why so many large clans do not ask to be streamed, because they want their strats to be secretive. Yeah. Because these clans, when money's on the line, like the recent King of the Sea, the money's on the line, and especially in the Verizon Masters, when money is on the line, you're gonna get in there and you're gonna want to do whatever it takes to win. So you're gonna analyze plays. This is quite literally like going back into like NFL, like watching the tapes. Okay,
yeah.
What does this team do on offense? What does this team do on defense? Oh, they have this over here. This is what we can do to counter it. And if that doesn't work, here's what we can do to fall back on. Mm-hmm. It's also having like a built playbook with a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, plan D, all the way through to Z. It's a lot of, but what it basically boils down to is commitment and drive to have your name on one of the loading screens for this game,
Yeah.
and to have the bragging rights of being number one for your region, if not the world. But it all starts with commitment and consistency.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You touched on Kings of the Sea, and I asked Corrupt Penguin, the leader of Repoy, about Kings of the Sea prep, and he's just like, dude, film. Like,
It's the same thing. Like it's the same thing here across all regions. Like you watch like a ton of these like '07 has a lot of very talented streamers, but not all of us do stream clan battles. So like, and we've actually, it's actually like, it's not banned by us, but it is advised against, just so like we don't get our strats more exposed.
yeah,
But basically, like if you have a resource that's available, if you don't use it, you're quite literally just leaving money on the table. So it's
yeah,
tapes, it's research, it's talking with opponents. Hell, even asking to scrim your opponents to see what their strats are, just so you can have that replay to
mhm,
see what they are. Like top tier clans scrim each other all the time just so they can like get information from each other and see how they play. Like it's not just to practice your mechanical skills, it's to test things, it's to push things to see what is different, what can they do to be better than the opponent that they're not only facing now but potentially down the line.
yeah. I mean, if I imagine if you're practicing your mechanical or positional skills in a COTS scrim, then like you're probably already fucked, right?
Mm, exactly. Like you've got to like you got to keep it fresh. You got to be unpredictable, but at the same time you've got to get as much information from your opponent as possible. And it's a lot of work, and I think people just underestimate the amount of work it takes actually to be a top tier clan. And like people like they treat it almost like a second job here. Like especially at 0700QQ, like when it comes to competitive time, we treat this almost like a second job, and it's like nose to the grindstone, go go go.
Yeah. I mean, that's not for everyone, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I mean, I guess it's probably fine if you don't want to be number one in the world. Like, that's not for me. I don't really
Mhm.
like losing.
I mean, nobody likes losing, but the thing is, though, like even with all this all may sound very intimidating. But I'm going to say something for the viewers out there.
Let's go.
Don't let this intimidate you. This is only for like the top 0.01 or 0.001, whatever, the cream of the crop. If you want to take your gameplay to the next level in a clan battle season or King of the Sea, just get a consistent roster and make sure they work well with each other and make sure they can take feedback. Like if you guys can play proactively and reactively and have a solid core of players, I guarantee you will see a increase in wins and an increase in profitability moving forward, like gaining more resources such as steel, which is I guess not as rare anymore, but just make sure that you're consistent and you are ready to do what is needed. Like we've had people grind ship lines that they didn't have. They're like, oh, like this is actually going to be meta this season. Do you have this? And it's like, oh no. And then we've actually had people like speed run through a line just to get that ship so it is ready for the season.
That's mental. This kind of segues brilliantly into the next question. How does a multiple time Hurricane clan like 007 or QQ or '07 keep energetic for a clan battle season? I think it was Eric Thomas that said, shout out to the ET, the hip hop preacher. I love that dude. The line at the hill works harder than the line at the top of the hill. So how do you guys like get up for a clan battle season?
Well, more likely, it's kind of like we don't try to burn ourselves out on World of Warships. Like we are not just a World of Warships clan. Like a lot of us, we play different games. Like I know a big one in '07 00 and QQ right now is Bloons Tower Defense. They
Love
absolutely
that
love
game.
it. They're huge into it. They love it. They meme on each other with it. A few of us actually play Phasmophobia, which is like that ghost game. We call it ghost game. We basically just don't try to burn ourselves out on World of Warships, so we absolutely like hate it. So we get to the point where like we're at the start of the season and we just can't play it anymore. We try to
Yeah.
keep our gaming repertoires fresh, not just solo, but playing games with each other, so that we just still keep that social aspect, that social cohesion, so that when we get into a Clan Wars setting or a King of the Sea setting, that we're not completely burnt out and we're like, who are these people? We're not
Yeah.
going to be like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, you can't. There's this big myth going around that you have to play every single day, get your 3 containers, play every single day, 400 games a day, or you're useless. You're just bad.
Mm.
Quit the game.
I must
Like,
say that's cap. That is total cap. Like, do not like you don't have to play this game every damn day. If you play this game every day, you're going to burn yourself out. I mean, if you want to do it for the resources, just go have a relaxing time in co-op or something like that. But like if you play this game every day, you will burn yourself out. And that's why I actually had to end up taking a break for like 2 months earlier this year because I'd played this game since closed beta all the way up to like now, like nonstop. And I needed to take a break and it was just not fun because I was losing my love for the game and I was like, you know what, like I love naval warfare. I want to keep seeing what wargaming has to bring, even after all this controversy that has happened in recent times. But it is key to not let yourself burn out. Like if you want to, if you're in a competitive setting, if you're in a competitive clan, you cannot burn yourself out. You must you must take breaks. It is playing every day. It's unfeasible. It's asinine. It's not fair because if people imply that you need to play every day to get better at this game, that means you can't have a social life. You can't see your family, you can't see your significant others, you can't see your friends, you can't travel. And that like there are exceptions to that. Like for example, like when we went to the CC Summit way back, the Rogue Wave event was on, and Lord Zath actually brought his laptop so he could get his daily containers for the Rogue Wave events, the Venom. And basically, what happened, like, just don't play every day. Like play when you can, but don't let ships consume your life.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
it's so important to differentiate.
I've played every day for 3 years. I haven't seen my family in 4. So like, don't end up like me, guys.
Eesh.
Super jaded.
Oh, dude, like I'm gonna say this just for lack of better phrasing because I had to tell myself this. Go touch some grass.
I love that.
Go
How,
touch some grass, man.
that's so
Like
important, eh?
take a step away from the computer. Like honestly, I'm gonna say this right now. Like last year, I had an awakening. Like we're locked down, pandemic. It was BS, and I was just like getting so upset. Like depressive episode. Like I was a sad boy, but like seriously, going outside and touching grass or doing something that is actually like physically demanding of you, it's great. Like I started lifting weights, almost coming up on a year now. Like I've been going to the gym, and I used to not be able to do 25-pound dumbbells in my hands like on like a flat press because I popped my shoulder. But
Yeah.
now that I've done that and I've taken time away from gaming to put into this, I'm not only happier and feeling more healthy, more energized, but I went from not only just lifting 25-pound dumbbells, but I am now doing 145 pounds at 6 reps on a bench press.
Oh my god, that's so much.
So I mean, it's not a lot to some people, but like
Yeah.
it's a lot to me. And like honestly, like having that balance, like I understand now why my parents were like, "Hey, you need to have this balance between gaming and like outside work." And honestly, if anyone here feels like they're getting into that slump, quite literally do what I said before. Go touch some grass, go on a
Go
walk,
touch
and you'll feel
grass.
way better.
That's brilliant. Uh, that's fucking brilliant, man. That's super important. Like, I think people, and look, I'm in this bracket. We get sucked into the world that isn't a world. Like,
Mhm.
we quite literally just forget about our human car, and we focus on the cars in the game. Like,
Yeah. Like it's a form of escapism because I mean, like gaming is a form of escapism in itself where we're not happy with certain aspects of IRL, and so we turn to gaming to fulfill those aspects. Like for example, I know a lot of people that are very shy in real life, but are the most extroverted people when you get them on Discord. And so there's that kind of balance there. and they're just transferring skills from a physical situation to a virtual situation. So it is a form of escapism, but it's also very good to draw. It's a very good form of escapism, but it's also very important to draw the line at that one point so you can differentiate between, okay, this is the virtual world and here is the here's the real world, and then you have to like kind of almost connect the dots and be like, okay, these social skills I can reconnect to. And so I feel that is just so important for gamers, especially like even like in World of Warships, like a lot of people are like super toxic, and
Giga toxic.
I guarantee you, if one person went out there and said like things that I've seen in game chat, they would probably get their teeth knocked out.
Yeah. Like actually publicly executed.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
honestly, like now that like COVID is kind of on its last legs and things are starting to open up, even though we are having like I guess regional lockdowns and infections, the lambda variations and the delta variations, people are going to start going outside and they're not going to know how to function, so they're going to just
Yeah.
resort to toxic masculinity or whatever it is in public, and they're going to get their clocks cleaned, and it's going to be absolutely delicious because people just need to realize they have to differentiate between IRL and that virtual realm.
Or just just don't be shit.
I
Like,
mean, that too, but I mean, some people still can't even manage that.
yeah. It's super disappointing. Like, what, 12 months in lockdown and we forget how to be human beings? It's
Basically, yeah,
crazy.
like it was savages. I like even at the beginning of lockdown. This is actually a weird story. I was out grocery shopping, and I have a mask up. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a halfie, so I'm half Asian and I'm half white. And all you could see was like a mask. So like I'm sitting there. Hang on, if I can get it out. So I'm sitting there with my mask on, and all you can see is my eyes. And some guy told me to go back to my own country, so I proceeded to tell him, "Hey, I'm born here, you asshole. Like I was born here." And then he completely like it was ridiculous. Like people just can't be good people, and either IRL or in the game, people just can't be good people. It's weird. Like how like we're all suffering on this like ball of dirt and water together. Like why can't we just be good to each other?
Yeah, like life's scary enough. There's a giant fireball sitting above our foreheads, and we're traveling through the vacuum of space at 1 billion miles an hour. Like, why can't we just be kind?
I mean, yeah, like there was another funny thing. It was like an alien race is like visiting and observing Earth, and it's like, oh, like how are they doing? It's like, oh, well, they've solved nuclear technology, and it looks really good. There's only one issue: they're pointing their nukes at each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Ridiculous, man. Humans.
Actual humans. Could you imagine being a human? Ugh.
Oh, can't relate.
Not even a single
Oh, my cover's
percentile.
blown.
Shit. Bro, did we break news, did we? Fuck.
Oh no.
Bro, you
But
said
yeah.
we can't talk about anything NDA and you just broke news.
Oh, I mean the cage. I think like my handlers from Area 51 are about to come in here and like execute me. So we'll see what happens.
Shit. Am I in trouble, do you think?
No, you might wanna go underground or something just after this
Yeah.
podcast.
Or go like mega public. Like, just be like all eyes on me like all the time.
Oh goodness gracious. uh,
So these next two questions I ask majority of my guests. And I'd love that. Oh my god, there's someone cutting my grass outside. Can you not, please?
it happens. It happens.
Oh my god. GG
Like
content.
it's fine. Like I have a window like right here, and like sometimes like when I'm doing like a midday stream, like I'll hear a brrrr or an air blower, and it's absolutely the worst.
Guys, I'm really sorry. So these next two questions I ask all of my guests, and I'd love your answers. With the recent
Okay.
change to the way rocket attack planes interact with destroyers, how do you feel the relationship kind of is at the moment?
Between CVs and DDs,
Yeah.
honestly, like the rocket attack changes, like okay, so you have to lead your target a little more. But the thing is, though, like now you can just five head Deezus destroyers with bombers now.
Yeah.
Like this is bringing like the changes to rocket planes now bring things like the British carriers more into frame when dealing with destroyers. Um, I remember I was actually one-shotting Gearings with Saipan bombers, as well as Midway bombers back in the day. Like we're going back to that kind of thing.
8.0.
Like Like the
Ooh.
rockets, okay, like they're fine and all. Like I guess quote unquote fine. But like now we're just pushing carriers to crush people, crush destroyers and light cruisers with bombs.
Yep.
And that's the thing now. Like it's kind of trading one thing for the other. Where like a destroyer, like if caught out and is targeted, like fully targeted by a CV, like it's just like, okay, like which one of the lesser of these three evils am I gonna take? Am I just gonna have to like just eat the rocket planes? Am I just gonna like get clubbed by bombers, or am I gonna take a torpedo from this thing? Or the magical fourth option, have an FDR hover over my head and have the entire enemy team just like lay into me for like a good minute and see if I survive. So in my opinion, it's a bit of a trade-off. Like the relationship between CVs and DDs is still very poor, but it did kind of get better, but it is still not what we want to see because rockets will still up and punish them.
Look, I think an intelligent CV player is just going to use HE bombs anyway. I think they would have already without the change. Like, if you remember 8.0, 8.1 midway event, Enlighten drops, you'd like 24k a destroyer and just giggle. Like,
Oh yeah, I've done it before. That's what I was talking about with the
yeah,
Saipan and the
exactly.
Midway. Fun fact: Saipan still has the pre-nerf bombs. I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure.
god.
The pre-nerf torpedoes, I know that for a fact, but I heard that they may have the pre-nerf bombs. I'm not 100% on that, so I'll actually probably have to go in and see after. But if they do, that's just meme worthy because imagine just dropping someone with 4 Saipan bombs and just like one shotting a destroyer that's 2 tiers higher than you.
Yeah, I mean, why the fuck would you even use rockets now? Like, hello?
I mean, rockets. The only reason you'd use rockets would be to force a damage control,
Oh, that's a
and
good
then you
point.
can get permafires. Like
That's a good point.
that's really it. Like carriers are the kings of dot stacking right now. Like they have torpedoes, they have rockets, they have bombs. Like the ones who use basically HE everything are the dot stackers. Like not saying that AP bombs aren't great, but like if you can stack like a quad fire on somebody like a conqueror, that's an easy 150 to 200k from a single ship.
Yeah. And you're going to get that because the Conquer's going to heal. And what's
Oh
it going
yeah,
to do?
like 3D printers. 3D printers.
Actual 3D printing cars.
Exactly. Like 100%.
So, as a follow-up question, how do you think the two CVs has affected the CB meta?
I mean, double CV, for lack of better phrasing, it is cancerous. And I feel like having this meta at tier 6, just like for lack of better phrasing, it's a yikes from me, dog. Like we should have limited one carrier, one battleship. And even then, a lot of teams would have taken Issei's and Ryujo, for example, before it
Mm.
was banned. And so honestly, I think the double carrier choice, it ruins the game for like you're gonna get 4 carrier players into a game, and it's gonna ruin the game for 10 other people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know a single destroyer player who says, "Oh boy, here comes rocket planes to go and hover over me and spot. Oh no, what am I gonna do?" Like unless you're playing like something like USS Kid, which is not available in this Clan Wars season because again, tier 6, like it's just gonna be annoying. Like you're it's like sure it's great for spotting. Like sure the carriers are great for spotting, but to me like 2 is too much. We already had issues with 1. 2 is too
Yeah.
much.
Look, I'll push back a little bit. Humbly, I might add push back. And just ask, don't you think the threat of battleship guns are important though?
They are very important. Yes, the threat of battleship guns is extremely important. However, what I'm talking about is like the double CV is just it's disgusting. Like there's too much spotting, and you can set up cross drops on destroyers with or torpedoes if you can coordinate with your other carrier player. Like we've done it before in double arc royals. Like just last week, we crushed destroyers with cross drops. It's absolutely it's terrifying, but that's why I want to see a one battleship, one carrier swing in this clan season because 2 carriers is just too much. The spotting, the damage potential, it's too much.
Okay, that's fair enough. So, in my last podcast with my guest, we spoke about the importance of having fun. As a player that is in the top 0.01%, how do you keep the game fun?
We play things that aren't usually done. Like for example, Hang on, I'll see if I can actually get the sound up here because for those who watch BFK, you will know this. You will
Guys,
know
go watch
this.
BFK.
Where is it? Oh, did I get rid of it? I think I got rid of it. I can upload it real quick here though.
Actually, go watch all
Um,
the '07 streamers.
yes,
Do it.
100%.
Especially
If
Virtual
if
Senpai.
if you've watched any '07 streamer, you'll know where this is from. I'm not sure if it'll play.
I hope
No, it
so.
won't play. It won't play. Dang it. But you all know the lodge, right? So basically, what happens, like, if we get like bored of the game or something like that, we will play a KAK div, so a Kid Aki Kid div, and we will go hunt carriers. And that's kind of like what we. That's like, I mean, that's a way. That's one way you can keep the game fun. Like, you're going out there to like take revenge for all the destroyers that were rocketed post 8.0, like, or for example, you play the Lighthouse Henry build, which is your concealment is bigger than your gun range. So you're all spotted at all times, and you're wearing no camo, and you're shooting at things. You're basically practicing your dodging skills. But what I've chosen to do personally is I've chosen to delve into hybrids like CAVs and BBVs like Tone and Issei because there's something different, and I feel like it hasn't fully been explored by a lot of players. Like they're just kind of been written off as like, oh, they're gimmicky, whatever. But I see value in these types of ships. Like Tone has 8.8 kilometer concealment when it all is said and done, which is ridiculous for a heavy cruiser at tier 8, where the Atago gets a 9.3, I believe. So you get like a point 0.5 extra, which is unbelievable. In exchange for losing one turret and a bunch of torpedoes, you get you get planes that can like spot anything and everything and finish off targets that conventional armament can't reach. So basically, like, in order to keep the game fun, you got to find new ways to play it and like new things to do, like new contests, like challenge yourself. Like, do I want to, like, okay, like how fast, like even back when Euro was doing like the CV snipe contest, like I believe that it was a 007, it was a 007 team that actually won that contest for sniping the carrier in a minute and 30 seconds, I believe,
Oh my
from the start
god.
of the game. So it's finding things like that to make the game fun, like finding different ways, like finding different specs, like, oh, like, can I just put a bunch of points into this? And can I make it effective? Can this work? Can this be fun? Or it's just making that dumb decision or like that really low percentage play decision and having it play out. Like making sure like you can keep the like do those things or just like think outside the box to make this game fun for you, because it is like let's be real. After playing this game for a long time, you get bored. But you got to make sure like you can think outside the box in order to make the game fun again, so you don't burn out as fast. Like just finding different ways to play the game is it.
Yeah, I mean, to personalize this, I built my Kleber for torpedoes. Didn't use a legendary mod, just torpedoes. It's hilarious, dude. Do you know what's really sad though? I had my a personal best game using that rather than a traditional Kleb build. It's stupidity.
Yeah, like that's exactly it. Like I know that like people like Notzer have done like, oh, the torpedo ambush build for the Kleber, and that's exactly like that's like it's quite literally like go against the grain. If you want to find something that's potentially fun, you can't stick to just the meta. The meta is efficient, and being efficient isn't exact. Like sometimes it isn't fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be, but a lot of the times being efficient is not fun because you cut out so many of the fatty bits. It's like it's like it's like doing butchery, I guess. You want to make a nice like lean steak, so you cut off all the fat, but where's the fun in that, right? Like you
Yeah.
don't get that sizzle, you don't get those that like nice little those like nice little like I guess like almost creamy bits of the like the steak or like
Hmm.
meat. And so having that little bit, like it's efficiency over fun. Just go against the grain, figure things out, take a chance, see what happens.
My clan leader's going to crack the shits at me for saying this, but building clever like Karbarosk is also a lot of fun.
I mean, that's the way to play it. That is honestly the way to play it. You literally sit and gun people.
Yeah.
Like if you don't build it to utilize its main armament, then like dare I say, like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, I actually agree. Like, build it like a Khabarovsk. Like, build it to utilize its guns. Build it to utilize its gun potential. Like,
Yeah.
you can play it at range. You can play it up close. Like, just utilize the guns.
Well, I mean, I run no concealment and an AFT, so maybe I'm not doing it right, but
No, you are. That's just full on. Look at me. I'm a distraction. Clever. Like that is one of the ways to play it. Like you can play a clever like at the maximum concealment and just never let off your left mouse button.
look at me. I'm sitting on your forehead at 10 kilometers and you just can't do anything about it.
Exactly. Like you're just like basically tap dancing on someone's forehead. Like I'm just letting you know I'm here. That's it.
Yeah. So let's get to the elephant in the room. The CC apocalypse. The Exodus. I don't want to talk about it for very long because I feel like it's all I've been talking about, but just real quick, in a couple of minutes, give me a take.
I'm gonna say this. I have put out a YouTube video about this. I actually just released it last week, and it's fitting because I played the Tone and I called this video Tone Deaf. And basically, what I said, the gist of it. I mean, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a like some of the points I've tapped on. If you want to see what happened, then you'll have to go watch it yourself.
Link in description.
But basically, there's such a large disconnect between Lesta St. Petersburg's marketing team and the rest of the world. They think all that matters is the bottom line. This is talking about the loot crates, by the way. And this is what a lot of people are pissed off about. They think all that matters is the bottom line. Oh, we have a Peggy 7 rating when gambling should be at least an 18. But all they think is that the bottom line matters. They don't think about player retention, which adds to your bottom line and keeps your players happy. They don't think about that. And to me, this is me saying, like literally, like flicking them in the forehead and saying, "Wake up!" Like what they're doing to their community contributors is absolutely disrespectful. Like if I was marketing at Lesta, I would be going up one side and down the other. I'm a marketing major, by the way, so I've been like quite literally every form of triggered, like every day of the week, twice on Sundays, just watching this happen because like I'm like, why would you ruin free publicity? Why would you ruin free marketing? Why are you clapping down free advertisement, people singing praises about your damn game, and you treat them like garbage? You don't respect them. You don't see them as equals. You don't see them as partners. And if you don't do that, if you don't treat people with respect in the business world, you're not going to make a lot of friends. You're definitely not going to make a lot of friends. You're going to make a really bad name for yourself. And then I guess like the writing on the wall already says so. Like Wargaming, you've made a real shitty name for yourself after this debacle. When Kotaku picks up your scandal, when PC Gamer picks up your scandal, when we get a Jimquisition episode, the same person who did the Foshgate debacle back in the day, when we get a damn Jimquisition episode, you know you fucked up. But the whole thing revolving around Chobitsu and Little White Mouse, like my heart bleeds for them. As a fellow Canadian, my heart bleeds for them. Like they put so much work into the Yukon only to have it like clubbed out like right away. Like not and then like having like, hey, like years, like quite literally, like months, weeks, months, days, months, years went into the development of this ship by those two people because they were so damn passionate about the project, and all their work was thrown out the window. Chobi did a camo, the Sackville camo, and it was like, hey, we literally gave you this camo. All you need to do is put it in the game, and you can make money off of it. And Wargaming, you know what they did? They're like, no. Literally left money on the table, by the way. Like, I would like to meet their marketing department and quite literally tell them how dumb they are being by leaving money on the table. Like, you keep the first thing we learn in business school: keep your customers happy. Do what you need to do. in order to keep them happy. Like, make concessions for them, listen to them, because at the end of the day, they're the people who are going to be spending money on your game. Even though this is a free to play title, people have wailed and wailed and wailed. And if you are not making good business decisions, good marketing decisions that are good for your player base and your consumer, then you're not going to make money. And you're going to have to resort to real seedy tactics in order to get money out of these people, like gambling boxes. Like, this is ridiculous. Just give the people what they want. Give the people what they want, talk with them, collaborate with them, and you can help form a game that is actually good for the community and good for your wallet. Like, I'm just straight up pissed off because like I'm like a team of like orangutans could have done better marketing. And that's not an exaggeration. Like, actual orangutans could have done a better organization of like the marketing campaigns.
How do you know they didn't?
I don't know that they didn't, but there was a zoo nearby Lesta when I visited.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. Like, I didn't first guess this. I'm not some Johnny come lately. I said this, like, my first topic about this. Wargaming have made a tremendous product, and they're screwing the pooch. Like, they're literally decapitating the golden goose.
Yeah, exactly. They're basically making sure they eat for a day and not for a lifetime. Like, they're like it's just dumb. It's dumb decision making. They aren't listening to, quite literally, like, this is why a ton of the NACCs left. Like, we're looking at you like, yo, this is not the way to treat, like, this is not, like, we live in the West and we understand how capitalism works. Like, we, like, quite literally, North America is the home of capitalism. We all know this. North America, the American dream, whatever. Like, this, like, we've seen companies that have had kind of like hints of becoming like wargaming, but then they pull themselves out of the gutter and then they're better people. Like, they actually say, like, when they make a mistake, they say, hey, you know what, guys? We're sorry. Instead, World of Warship says, hey, guys, we made a mistake. We know you're angry, and we're sorry you feel that way. There's a difference. Like all you have to do is say, hey, we are sorry. We are taking steps to rectify the situation. We are listening to the community. We would like to take the best step forward in order to improve your experience on the high seas. Please bear with us.
Yeah.
As we make these decisions and move forward. Like the one thing that was really astounding for me was the fact that it took Fem, former CM at Wargaming NA, now a CM for EA, big upgrade there, by the way. It took her 18 minutes to come up with a better worded response than it took Wargaming to come up with in 3 days. That says something.
How much of those 3 days? How much of those 3 days do you think they actually used to craft that apology? 10 seconds?
Yeah, I think that's a little generous. They're probably like, oh, just tell them something to appease them. That doesn't work here. We have had enough. Like, there's just like, we've gone from a dumpster fire to a landfill firestorm.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's tragic.
It actually is. Like, I've been playing this game for 5-6 years. You've been playing for 3, you've said, and like, I'm passionate about this game, but I hate what they're doing to it.
Yeah.
And
to quote Malta, it's the saddest thing. It's the most tragic thing I've seen in a year.
I mean, yeah, it's up there. Like, when you drive away people who are passionate, like Jingles, who quite literally served in the Royal Navy. When you drive someone away like that, that's bad. When you drive away Flambass, one of the more respected CCs that was in the program up till recently. When you drive away iChase, who quite literally like dissects everything. When you drive away Little White Mouse, who made reviews for people to make informed purchasing decisions to promote the good stuff so you could sell more of them. Yeah. Or tell people, hey, be wary if you want to take a chance on this ship, but if you don't like this, then here's another one that you could get. Like, they ruined themselves. They quite literally I wouldn't say they shot themselves in the foot. I'm quite literally saying they willingly stepped on a landmine when this happened.
Yeah. Like, when I spoke to iChase, he was so, like, despondent. It made me really sad. Like, because you can tell that dude loves this fucking game. And they're like, he's not getting anything for that love. Like, Oh, he's getting 10k doubloons a month. Who gives a fuck? Like,
Yeah, we're getting like 10k doubloons and a book of codes to give away, and
yeah,
that's what we get. Maybe sometimes we get like the premiums that we test, but like we can't even show those ships on stream anymore. So like I don't even test anymore. Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't even get to tell people like even when ships are in final form and like being ready for release, we're still not allowed to play them because it's like, oh, like you're gonna give them the wrong idea. It's like, well, come on. It's literally final form. You said it's final form. Why can't we play this at least 3 days before it's actually released so people can make informed decisions? Do you want people just going in blind and then refunding? That's a whole lot more work for you. And if we give it a good review, then people will buy it. Like the lights are on, but nobody's home.
Do you think that might have something to do with a certain ex-CC from Finland?
If we're talking about Flolo,
who might have streamed Pobita?
I mean, to be fair, when Flamu hit 100,000 followers on Twitch, he had nothing else left to lose. That was the final level of the CC program's milestones. So honestly, I have a theory that once Flamu went and completed all his giveaways, things like that, for the CC program, he quite literally had nothing left to lose. So I think what he did is he continually towed the line to see what he could get away with. And I have the utmost respect because honestly, if I were in the same situation, making huge money off of World of Warships, I would probably, once I hit that, I would be like, you know what? Like, I don't think this company really respects me. Like in his shoes, this is what I think he's thinking. I don't think this company respects me. Let's see how much I can get away with before they're forced to remove me. Like it's childish, but it's freaking hysterical.
Yeah. I mean, look, Flolo's the prototype, right? That's what you want to be, right? Like, that dude is actually getting away with blind robbery. Like, he's making so much money off this game.
Like some would say he is the quickie baby of World of Warships.
Quickie baby? What's a quickie baby?
He is like one of the more well-known Watt CCs. Like he plays tanks and he like makes big money. Like he's big money.
Yeah?
Yeah, like real big money. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of years ago at a wargaming dinner in San Jose. Really cool dude. Yeah, he's got like, I'm pretty sure he's got millions on YouTube.
What? Millions
of like subscribers on YouTube. I'm actually gonna look him up right now.
I can't.
Let's see. He's got. Oh, sorry. He's got 659K on YouTube, but his videos are like they're super big. Like he is one of the more well-known like World of Tanks players out there, along with Sophie, who I've also had the pleasure of meeting. Also a very amazing person. But like Flamu is the quickie baby of ships.
Dude, I'd love to get him on the podcast. Dude. That's the dream. I've got like a couple of people like on my bucket list to get on. It's Jingles, Flambass, Malta, because he's a god. Like an actual god. And Flomo.
I mean, 3 of the 4 I could maybe put in a good word for you, but I haven't spoken with Flolo in a hot minute. But I could definitely maybe put it like I'm in constant contact with Jingles and Flambass right now because there's been the rumors of the vocal minority Discord are very true. I am part of it. But it is a very private affair. With a lot of content creators, and we're all just kind of like gathering our thoughts like after this whole like the aftershock of what's happened. Yeah. But I mean, I could see if I can pull some strings for you.
Yo, would you do that for me?
I could see.
Oh my god.
Because I mean, at this point, I think anyone and everyone would like to get more out about the situation and just kind of like get our thoughts, because like now that we're breaking into mainstream media, the Little White Mouse article on Reddit actually reached r/all, so that's kind of big.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. See, the thing is, right, I'm not influenced by wargaming. Bro, no one at wargaming knows who I am. I'm actually like no one. It's fantastic though.
And they just it's great because like you fly under the radar and you can quite literally say whatever you want.
Yeah, literally. Like, It's a podcast, man. I can say whatever I want. It's fantastic. Well, within reason. Yeah, within reason. But it's fantastic. So the last thing I wanted to get into before I let you go, because I'm sure you're a busy person. Far more busy
I'm not
than
busy.
I
I
am.
mean, it's 8 p.m. at night for me. Like I've after this, I'm probably just gonna go get some food and maybe watch a show and then like get ready to like maybe just like either go watch a show, play some games, and then go to sleep. Like
Yeah.
I had a long weekend. I did I played a round of golf on Sunday, so I was out in the heat, and then Saturday it was like a half stream day, and then we did some watch parties, which was kind of fun.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
But
stream, yeah. Yeah, I was there.
yeah, so like yeah, like I'm not that busy. I mean,
So I've seen around the place about Wookiee Legend, who I love personally. Great guy. And another WoW streamer. I think it's Overlord Blue. Is that right?
Bo, yes.
Bo. What do you believe the nexus of their issue is?
Okay, I'm a straight up like put it this way. So it is of popular consensus among a lot of like the competitive community that Wiki Legend has attained his viewership by less than savory means. And this consists of like view botting, things like that. People think he's view botting. I'm not saying he has. All right, so nobody fucking like take a pitchfork to me.
Yeah.
People have said he has because his growth was not consistent or it was anomalous. It was anomalous. And like I'm not saying that like what he's done or what he's allegedly done, if he's done it or not, but what I'm saying is his growth for the time of night for the NA community is unheard of when people at that time slot quite simply struggled. And the
Yeah.
only person to actually do that or do well in that time slot was Notzer, and he actually stopped before that time slot. So before Wookiee came along, there was a lot of like Static the Warmonger was streaming. Static's a good buddy of mine, by the way. He's just too busy. He used to be CC. He's on the inactive list. Master Chief 1567, another QQ7 streamer. I'm a huge fan of the Chiefy. He's an awesome guy. But basically, what happened was a lot of people do not respect Wookiee because of how he's grown up into something that seems basically like he's either paying for viewership or something like that. That's what people are upset about. But specifically between Overlord Bo and Wookiee Legend, this stems back to Bo helping out a former Wookiee member named Puddin597 and helping Wookiee do well in Clan Wars. And they were doing this out of the kindness of their hearts because Bo and Puddin were very close. And so what happened was, basically he saw that the QQ7 division that was merking for Wookiee at the time was doing really well. And so Wookiee, wanting to be a, I guess for lack of better phrasing, a choosing beggar from what I've heard, um, decided to say, hey, I'd like to split up your division so you can merc for two other teams for Wookiee so we can pull these clans up too. And the QQ7 guys flat out refused. They're like, no, we want to play with Puddin. Like, we want to push this rating. We want to help you guys learn. And so you can have these tools so you can do it yourself. And there was a huge blow up and things like that. And then there was like the whole like alleged slander flying back and forth, back and forth. Wookiee actually challenged Bo in a public channel. Um,
What?
and like, instead of like, this was an issue that could have been easily solved in DMs, but it was brought out into an open channel.
Yeah.
And it was something that like I didn't need to see, a bunch of CCs didn't need to see, and we're like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
You could have solved this issue behind closed doors and no one would be the wiser. And the fact that like to me, it seemed like Bo was trying to help out a friend and and Wookiee didn't like it. Because and honestly and it goes back to there's also a bit of a beef between Wookiee and 07007 and QQ7, and that beef is he thinks he like I don't know how much truth there is to this rumor, but apparently he thought that our leaders sent the Entai and SCCC guys after him to stream snipe him to grief him purposely, which is completely fabricated and false. Like, we don't do that. Like, we like sure we may not like you as a person, but we're not going to go out of the way to like quite literally give you that much attention. Like,
Yeah.
we're of the train of thought where you know what, you can do this, and we're just gonna like we're just not gonna pay attention to you. But like there was that train of thought. There's a lot of friction between our two clan organizations right now. Like it's well, I wouldn't say it's a lot of friction. It's just more like we don't like him at all
Okay.
because one, he's mistreated Bo, and he's accused us of things, and it's whole and like we know that like you're like unless proven otherwise, we're going to say that like even people outside of our clan organization in like the Twitch community thinks he botted.
Really?
And yeah, like it was very anomalous growth. It was unheard of, and we think that there was something sinister going on. But with the recent things, I'm sure you've seen in Overlord Bo's Discord or in mine the announcement that either he or I made, right?
I saw yours. Yeah, I'm not in Bo's.
So with what happened, basically we're talking about another person. So with my announcement, I was like, okay, you know what, like I don't agree with what he had done, because what had happened is I got the lowdown from Puddin that Wookie kicked Puddin for some reasons. Like he said, "Oh, we're kicking you for reasons that it's time for us to part ways." Blah 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 blah. And it's like you did something wrong. And Puddin asked, "Well, what did I do wrong? Can I defend myself here? Like, what happened? Like, what are you kicking me for?" Refused to show him proof, and just kicked him from the clan. And so Puddin here is like distraught because he had been, as far as I'm aware, one of Wookie's clan battles leaders, or helping organize things. And Putin has been around the block. He's been in APOC. He's been in Kraken. He's been in a ton of competitive clans, and he's got like 27K battles under his belt. He
Oh my
loves this game.
gosh.
He bleeds for this game, and to have that happen to him, I felt for him. Like Putin's been a great guy to me, and he's been so supportive. And just to see that happen, it broke my heart. And
Yeah.
to me, it was the last straw. And so it was really really funny. Bo and I were talking about this, and we're like, "Yo, let's get him into QQ." And so, quite literally, as soon as his clan cooldown was done, we talked with the QQ leaders, and we brought him in, and everyone was just losing their shit. They're losing their shit. They're like, "Oh my god! Like, is this the equivalent like of having like we're gonna go with some ratings here. All right, so you'll I so like as a guy you'll know what I'm saying here. So it's like it's the equivalent of having the two break up with you, and then an hour later having the 9.5 get into your text messages and say, "Hey, I'm home alone. Come over."
Bro, is that good? Do you think?
Might be good. Might be good.
Maybe.
But the drama going on between Bo and Wookie, it could have been totally avoided.
Yeah.
But honestly, like it just comes down to a willingness to talk about an issue and hear the other party out, and putting your ego aside, which one party, um the aggressor in this situation, in my opinion, has not. And honestly, and if they come at me for this, you know what, I'm going to say it's too late, man. The writing's on the wall. You've already made yourself out to look like this, and if he watches this, so be it.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
the
because
writing's on the wall.
I've spoken to Wookie like a heap of times, and he's always been like the nicest guy. Like, have you ever like actually jumped in a voice call with him?
I've met him in person.
You've met him.
He lives in my city.
He's the nicest guy though, like to talk to.
Mm, I would say it's a bit of a facade. He'll smile in your face with a knife behind his back. That's what some people would. That's what some people would say. Like it's kind of like the haha, like I've got it behind my back sort of deal.
Yeah.
But like that's what like there's always a dark side to a person. There's a dark side to me, and like I could be mean sometimes. I could be toxic, and that's me. Like the thing is though, like what he did to Puddin, that was like that just it reeks of foul play. It quite literally reeks of foul play. You kick someone and don't tell them what they were kicked for, and don't give them a chance to defend themselves. You kick an officer for no reason, and I'm sure there was a reason. Like as he said, there was, oh, you did something wrong. But the thing is, if you're not willing to tell that person what they did wrong, in order to defend themselves, and if you kick them without chance of defending themselves, then you never really valued them as a clan member or like an asset to the clan in the first place, which really tells me a lot about his personality, which is that like, for lack of better phrasing, that gives me a yikes. And I will full on say that, like, if you did not value your, like, if you don't value your officers, if they're just a number to you, it's also going the way of wargaming. Like, if you don't value your players, then what's the point? Like, then that just makes you out to be a really, really terrible person or a really, really terrible company in um in wargaming's case. But
Yeah.
there's something else I wanted to talk about. Shoot. Uh, oh my gosh. But like, things aren't always as they seem. Remember, streamers are personalities, and very few people will actually stream who they actually are. I try my best to be very genuine, and I get angry, I get toxic, and it's just a part of me. And I understand that's not like what some people want to see, but like, there's a reason why, like, clan that, like, it's just not a good look. Like, if you don't like come out and make a, like, tell the person what they did wrong, it's just like you never valued them in the first place. And like, that's just a major blow to Puddin. Like, he doesn't, that just straight up shows me he didn't care about his feelings. He didn't care about anything. Like, he didn't care, period. Like, if we kick someone from 07007 QQ7, we tell them, hey, you were being a jackass in public channels, or you said something racist and we're kicking you. Like, there's a lot of misconceptions about 07007 QQ7. We have a zero tolerance on like hatred, sexism, racism, things like the discrimination. We have a zero tolerance thing for that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that we are these terrible people, like these terrible toxic people. But the thing is, though, we're human. We make our steps. But going back to the Bo and Wookie thing, like, honestly, like, as someone as a third party with no stakes in the matter, like, the bottom line is this all could have been dealt with in a peaceful DMs matter. But now, since it's in announcements in Bo's Discord as well as my Discord, and it's quite literally out there, you made your bed, now you got to lay in it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always disappointing when you see a conflict that just could be avoided by a simple conversation. Like, I always tell people, like, don't talk to people in text messages. Like, get in a voice call with them.
You lose a ton of context.
Yeah, I said that to Wookie last podcast. I was like, dude, my multi-million-dollar idea is to invent a sarcastic, like, an emotive text. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm. You know, it's actually really funny too. There was a, oh geez, oh crap, geez, I completely lost my my train of thought.
oh no,
goodness, my ADD brain. But yeah, like, honestly though, like, it all, like, you can't get text over sarcasm. Like, you can't get sarcasm over text. There's no emotion. The emotion is lost, and so it is very, very tough. But like, it's just one of those things that it just comes down to decision making. And like, I know I'm probably gonna get a bit of flack for it, but like you gotta, like, there were choices that could have been made, and if you had respected other content creators, you would have talked to them about it. And like, given that I haven't talked to Wiki directly because of it, but like, I don't want to. Like, he basically played his hand when he did these things, and I've seen other things that I cannot comment on due to private channels or NDA. But basically, like, there are decisions that could have been made and weren't made, and it's honestly disappointing.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I've kept you here for like an hour and a half, and like, it's been an honest, genuine pleasure. Like, this is a huge honor for me. I'd love to get you back on it, like, at some point, dude. This has been like giga fun.
We've been going for like an hour and 20 now, I think.
Yeah, dude. Look, I could talk all day, but like, I'm very self-conscious of the fact that I don't shut up, especially if we're talking about video games. I don't shut up. But no, huge honor, dude. Guys, link in the description to Virtual Senpai's channel. Please, literally smash that like button, please. Please.
Yes, please. I would really appreciate it, guys. Thank you again, Porky, for having me on. Like, this has been an absolute pleasure. But ladies and gentlemen, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully I can get back on for another one.
Dude, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, I'll be back Wednesday. As Kance is coming back on, we're talking more CVs because we're an aviary here, apparently. An aviary. All right, guys, until next time. Catch ya.